Okay, so I wanted to do one more example, and for some reason, we're getting data stream errors here, so it's on me. I don't know what that is, but I wanted to show you something with, instead of bilateral symmetry, I wanted to show you something with radial symmetry. Ooh, biology terms. So start with a form. Pardon me. Standard, select your thing. Sphere seems about right again. Start in the center. And I want to make something akin to one of those just adorable little like Dumbo octopus things. So we'll see. But first things first is it's an octopus. So 8. So I need to change this up to at least 8 faces. Now, what I did with that is simply in looking downward, I'm going to have 8 starting points. Now, you could divide that up further if you want to 16, so you'd have more of a space between each one. That's up to you. But the way that the extrude function works within the form space, you could leave it as 8 longitude faces, and the gap will still appear between. So that's going to be up to you. Symmetry. One of the issues here is I want not mirror, but circular symmetry. And there we go. It's going to assume you want symmetry across all the faces. If you don't, you can select them individually. That sort. You can add symmetric faces even more so. So this is another way to divide things up. But I'm just going to leave that at 1. So there we are. Leave it simple. You can always make it more complex later or practice on something simple. So let's start there. Now, first, again, I'm going to think through what you want to do here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create the legs with symmetry on, and then I'm going to change the symmetry up to create the other features. So first thing is plan out how you really want this to look. And what I'm going to start this with is chopping some parts off. So I'm going to start with just deleting some faces entirely. That's going to leave me with this little like gumdrop shape. It's open-ended, but what that means is I can now go ahead and close that. So fill hole, double click the bottom rung. I can use collapse. I can use fill star. That's just, again, it went to geometric simply because it is showing display mode change. Let's see, what error is it giving me? You can proceed or cancel the operation. T-spline body will be removed as a result. Oh, okay. I guess that's a far bigger issue. Don't know why. I've not run into that before. So let's just go ahead and go with the first option, huh? That was collapse. Okay. You can select the maintain crease edges if you want to make that sharp, but I don't. So let's make it more gumdroppy. Okay, great. Good thing to establish here. Which one is my front? Doesn't really matter, but it could. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start extruding outward. And this gets a little tricky because I'm working in 8 directions at once, but I'm only working from one single face. So try to wrap your head around that a little bit, but it'll make a lot more sense when I just do it. So I can select the front face and you see everything selects, but the problem is you are limited by working in dimensions, or at least that's just the way that this functions. If I was on a VR set, I can grab something and move in multiple directions at once. But I can also kind of do it here. Instead of working from the front, what I need to do is work from the top down, or close enough. It doesn't have to be the actual top. So let's select edit form, and I have that one face selected. But instead of using any of the arrow tools, I'm going to use the free transform, which is just the square. So I can drag this out and you can see it's moving it freely, but you can see how it's warping around. I don't want that though. Let me Control Z, go back. I want to actually extrude. So press and hold Alt, or again, if you're on Mac, press and hold Control and drag outward. Now it's making individual ones. And like I said before, if you don't select the edge between, it will make this gap. In this case, it's exactly what I do want to have happen. Before I go any further, I do want to double check that these look okay. I'm going to stretch this a little bit. Oops, grab the wrong tool. I want to grab the actual scale tool because I just want to stretch that up, make it a little bit more balloony. There we are. A little more rounded. Good. All right, go back up to the top. so I can see what I'm doing and just play. So I'm going to use the Alt Extrude command a few times here just to make some long cylinders, or rather some tentacles. Use the scale to start shrinking them out. Now, in this case, if I wanted, this is also where you could start twisting them. They would all follow suit. But if you wanted them more individualized, you would have to go in and do them individually. And by doing so, you'd have to disable symmetry. So for now, I'm going to create them all the same, and then I can move them around a little bit. But remember, this is not an animation program. You can't apply like internal linkages or something like virtual linkages. This is for free sculpting. So if you want to do something like that, I think Blender's your program for that one. But we're working with Fusion, so let's work with what we got. So let's keep playing. Oops. So let's keep playing, twisting things out. All right, this is turning into like a rather buff looking adorable octopus. You can, of course, move things up and down if you do actually want to make those more akin to that. You can make these as long or as short as you like, of course. Do that. Now they're kind of back down a little bit. There you go. I'm going to orbit this around a little bit just so they are more of outright. And yeah, I think I'll leave that at that. Okay. So now I have 8 arms sticking out. I can try the Cylindrify tool again to try to smooth this out a little bit. Okay. I don't think that's going to work on here. Holy mackerel. Let's just select these. There we go. Problem is it had everything selected from before. I just want to select one tentacle and let it do its thing. There we are. Okay. So all that did is it just kind of smoothed everything together. I don't know that I liked that. I actually kind of like the beefy, the beefy look. I'll keep it on that. So Cylindrify does work, but the problem is there aren't really qualifiers you can put in. It functions off of the last set, and since those were all smaller, kind of does weird things. So it's a tool you can use. Cylindrify is really cool, but it doesn't have as much control as I wish it would. So do with it as you will. Okay, so I have my tentacles all put out there, and it all looks pretty well good. I guess at this point I'm making more of a brittle star. That's all right. We're not going to get into the biology lesson because I'm about to give it some hopefully adorable and not unsettling eyeballs and stuff. So there we are. We got that. At this point, now I want to establish which one I'm going to use as the front. There we are. Nope, not 3/4 view. Still one in the front. There we are. Now, to start working this, because if I select one, it's going to select all of them, I need to remove symmetry at this point. So this is where you've got to think your way through your project. What stage do you need to attach things? What stage do you need to create things in multiples? And then remove or apply symmetry, things like that. Because I could still play with that. I could disable symmetry, and I could leave symmetry on, and I could actually build other chunks on. Maybe I'll do that for this time, just to show you all an example. So for here, what I'm going to do is right on the front, and I'll just put it on the side for now. Let's make some eyeballs completely differently. And we'll simplify this a little bit. 6, 6, just to make it a little bit easier to deal with. There we are. So there's nothing saying you can't be for the project or just for working in general, make things with separate parts here. So I'm going to move an eyeball about into position. I want to actually make sure that it's intersecting the body. Whoop. Make sure you look around a little bit, make sure it's actually still there. This gets a little awkward. So what I might have to do is make these and then actually use the form edit on the original body to bring kind of like, well, give it eye sockets. All right. That seems about right. Okay. Now I'm going to reshape this. However, I want to have 2 eyeballs. This is where the external or the duplicate symmetry comes into play. It's literally the mirror we've been using just across 2 bodies. So I'm going to select duplicate. My T-spline is that whole body. My mirror plane is going to be one of the planes in there. There we are. Now, boop, 2 eyeballs. Now, weld is going to try to join those together. I'm going to deselect that, so it doesn't matter. Now, just have those sitting there. So I can play around with these eyes, but they're going to be mirrored. So if I go to Form Edit and say select one of those faces and drag that out, oh, I have radial symmetry applied. Dang. Cancel that. My mistake. The symmetry was still on when I made the things. That's problematic. So I'll tell you what, let's clear symmetry of those. Okay. But what I need is symmetry duplicate. I might have accidentally selected circle. I'm not sure what I selected. Mirror plane. Now it's gonna make 2 of those, and that's problematic. So okay. There we are. So let's go to bodies. Make sure I deselect one of those. There we are. Let's delete that one. My mistake. All right. Now check this out. Body 1 is the actual body. Even though those 2 eyes are 2 separate bodies, because they are mirrored entities, it's listed under bodies as 1. So I'm going to label those now. Eyes, plural. And well, it's the body. Octopus. There we are. All right, now I can mess with this. So if I want to select something like that and drag it up and away, you see what's happening here. That's what I meant. All right, so I'm going to give it some, hey, there we go. Let's give it like some beehive glasses eyes. Why not? But before I do that, I want to apply soft modification and drag that up there. There we go. Ooh. So that's what I mean. Just have fun with this. Play around with it. Enjoy. You know what? Actually, I kind of like that. I think I'm not really going to mess with that very much. Okay. I think the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crease the edge of, oops, not that. Just around what I assume I'm going to make the pupil as. So that'll just be a little bit more flat. That's all. There we are. So as I zoom in, you can see that's just a little bit sharper now because of the crease symmetry. All right, great. I kind of like that. All right. Yeah, that's fun. Okay. Let's see here. We can do some other stuff. What time we have? A little bit longer. Okay, tell you what, real quick. We're going to get into this more on the next class, the next video, but I want to show you, let me see if this works this way, if this will work within this right now. So I made these kind of oddball eyeballs. We can certainly continue to reshape the body around it if we want to, get that warped up. Problem is it still has radial symmetry applied, so I'd have to deselect that, or it still has all symmetry. But one of the things you can also do is we used the face tool before, just creating faces. But one of the things you can do is I'm just working off of right there. Let's see if it'll let me do this. Nah, it's not going to let me. Dang. Okay. Never mind. I was hoping you can actually, in one move, wrap faces around an existing body. I think I just have to do it on a separate form. So let me try that. I'm going to finish this form. So it rounded out a few things. We're good there. I'm going to make a new one. And select form. Origin always disappears. I don't know why. I want to work on that. Ah, there we are. Yep. So hide origin. I don't need that. I'm going to work on faces. So I'm making a new thing. But now that I have started a new set here, the other selection box becomes available, object snap. Select that, and I can actually build directly on the face of this octopus here. So number of sides, starting point. So just like before, making some faces. There we are. Just going to build around. Let's give it kind of like a creepy smiley face. There we are. Okay. But as I orbit around, look what it's doing. It's actually building this onto the face. And I don't know why it snapped to that one. That's problematic. Let me cancel that. I don't know why it did that. Finish form. Made that. Tell you what, let's just delete that one. Go back to edit. Oh, it was grabbing the face that I created before. There we are. Delete that other one. Now I can do it correctly. Why is it giving me an error? Now it's what? Well, that's strange. All right. Well, then I don't know why when I deleted that did that. So let's just hide it. Let's just pretend it's not there. Ugh. Why is it giving me? Okay. That's very strange. I have no idea why now it's a problem. So I guess we'll address that. Go to repair body. Let's see where it's giving us some problems here. Auto repair. All around at the top. And for some reason down at the bottom, there's points all over. Jeez. Okay. So is that okay? Let's try again. Okay. Just had to repair it a little bit. All right. That was interesting. Don't know why the first time it worked and then going back, it doesn't. Very odd. All right. So what I was trying to do before, it's still there. Fine. I'll work on the other side. Work with faces. I want to turn on object snap. So now I should be able to create my kind of sort of smiley face here. Because as I look around, it is now wrapping that around the face itself. Pretty cool. Select OK. It wrapped that around. Let's use symmetry. Oops, sorry. Duplicate that across the mirror plane. Now it's wrapped around there. Cool. Okay. So super. What is the point of that? Well, it's wrapping around, yes, but it's what I can do with that. Now I could go to say like thicken that whole thing, and let's draw it out like 1 millimeter. Tell you what, let's make it a little bit more so you can actually see it more clearly. Now it's going the opposite. Now it's going internal. Let's go, let's say negative. So it goes outward. There we are. Okay. So now I have this wrapped around shape. Just a way to make a smiley. Well, albeit mildly creepy. Finish the form. So now you can see it's a completely separate form. Now that we're out of the form space, I can now weld these together. Or sorry, not weld. I can now join these together. So I could actually use the combine function, combine the main, and then the tool bodies are these two, and join them. Now they are joined together, and now I could apply my like fillets and things like that. So I can come around, apply fillets. This honestly was not the best way to go about this method, but I wanted to show you all a slightly different method for doing this. So it looks like my fillets are gonna really mess with this. And I'm gonna have to go around and select all kinds of things. As I work my way around here. Oops. Just have to zoom in. Let's see what happened. I didn't actually fuse these together. I just mirrored them together. Well, I'm gonna have to join those. All right, well, tell you what, I'll just cancel that for now. But that would be a way to create other features. So let's zoom back out. go to appearance. And from here, let's see here. Let's make this, ooh, cool, metallic flake. Let's make it a shiny metallic flake. Oops. Was that one? Yeah, that was the one that wasn't downloaded, that figures. There we go. Sweet metallic blue octopus. And let's give it some glossy white eyeballs, but not by bodies, but by faces. They zoom in. And then we can give it the black pupils. Then I could also go back to by body, because currently those are separate bodies. Let's give it, where's the, oh, what happened to my thing? Oh, right, I joined them together. So we'll just delete that join function. So we'll close, get rid of the join. So now those are still back to two separate bodies. Now I can apply my appearance. So obviously you're going to find some troubleshooting, some workaround things you're going to have to deal with. Close that. I'll switch back to just shaded. So I get rid of all the lines. And just so you'll know, this reflective surface, what you're seeing behind it, this like grid work thing, that's simply the auto-generated reflective surface when the photos were originally taken. So the photo map that it's creating around the body, it was done in like a warehouse. So what you're seeing is like all the girders and such around it in the warehouse. So I've effectively made something of a Cookie Monster octopus, I guess. So the faces method was not the best method to create the mouth. It probably would have been a lot better to do like we just did, using the a projected sketch onto a surface and doing that. So we'll modify that one next time. So I just realized what I did. The worst thing I did on this one, I did not save to start. So let's make sure to save this immediately. Example in class octopus. Hopefully that saves. Still getting that error. That's very strange. Don't know why. All right. It's unavailable at the moment. But there we go. So that's a different way of using the symmetry and such. I do need to modify this. Honestly, I need to go back in and give it its eye sockets, things like that, something to actually join these so these eyeballs are not just stuck on. But again, we are working very much with a toy mentality. So we're not looking for super fine detail, things like that. What we're looking for is general surface features and being able to modify the surface as needed. So ultimately, with the form tools, play around, enjoy them, play around with them. Hopefully don't get stuck. But if you do, there's a dearth of information and example videos and such online, or give me a shout. So best of luck with it, and hope you have fun. All right.